Okay, so you've learned 4 different methods to use to solve quadratic equations. We're going to take the quadratic formula apart a little bit and use part of it to help us decide what type of solutions to expect. And this is called the discriminant. So, the discriminant helps you determine how many real solutions a quadratic equation will have. So given a quadratic equation in the form ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, you can use part of the quadratic formula. So notice that this b squared minus 4ac part is the part that actually shows up in the square root. And if you get a positive number as an answer, you have 2 real solutions. If you get a 0 as an answer, you have 1 real solution. And if you get a negative number as an answer, you have no real solutions. So let's go ahead and do a couple problems. Pretty easy here. Similar to the quadratic formula, what you need to remember is the formula. And if you know the quadratic formula, it's really easy. We have b squared minus 4ac that we are going to use. Before we can use this, we need to make sure we have an equal 0 there. So notice this first one is already equal to 0, the second one is not. So we're going to have to adjust that a little bit. And once we know that that first part is equal to 0, we're going to go ahead and label a, b, and c just like we did with the quadratic formula, and then plug them in. So we're using b squared minus 4ac. So I'm going to square my b, which is 6. Remember I put it in parentheses. Minus 4 times a, which is 3, times c, which is also 3. All I have to do is type this into my calculator, see what I get for an answer, and then refer back to that table. So I'm going to do parentheses 6 squared minus 4, parentheses 3, parentheses 3. And I actually get 0 for an answer. Okay, so if you look back at that table, if you get 0 for an answer, that means we have 1 real solution. So here's my discriminant. This is the first part of the answer. This means I have 1 real solution. Okay, pretty basic, pretty easy. For the second one, we're going to start by getting an equal 0 there. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract 8 from both sides. So when I do that, I get negative 3x squared minus 7x, and that actually gives me 0. I'm going to put the 0 there just so I have it. Then I'm going to label my a, b, and c. So if I go ahead and label a, b, and c here, my a is negative 3, my b is negative 7, my c is going to be 0. So b squared minus 4ac. And plug that in. So b squared, negative 7 squared, notice it's in parentheses, minus 4 times a, which is negative 3, times c, which is 0. Go ahead and type that in your calculator and see what you get for an answer. Make sure you include the parentheses and watch your negative signs. You should get 49, which is a positive number. So if we look back at that table, if we get a positive number here, our answer is actually that we would have 2 real solutions. Okay, and that is all you're doing. So go ahead and try the next 2 problems. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Once you're finished, get your homework for extra practice, and then try your quiz. Have a great day.